it's going to take us on to our next game, which is going to be 12th ranked Ole Miss playing at South Carolina at 3:30 on Saturday afternoon. Now, this is a big one. For those of you guys that watched on Saturday or checked the scores, whichever, we saw Ole Miss go down at homecoming in Oxford by a field goal to Kentucky.
It was homecoming?
Yeah, dude, I had it on. It was a packed house. Like, it was, yeah.
I didn't
it was
know
electric.
that.
Yeah,
That's wild.
They happened to say it sometime during one of the last drives. It was homecoming that Ole Miss was looking for a miracle. So, with that said, Ole Miss coming off a massive loss to a team that only lost to Georgia by a point. Just a couple of weeks ago.
I tried to tell y'all. I tried to say Kentucky was tough. Do not rate them by one bad game against South Carolina, who I also think is a good team. Look, Kentucky's got a tough team, all right? They play defense really well, all right? And they play offense really well, all right? Brock Vandagriff, he just needed to get into a rhythm. He needed to learn how to play this team. That's not Georgia, all right? He had to get into their scheme. He had to find out, his playmakers. And he's been running the ball, and he's been doing well ever since he played us, all right? So he literally almost took us down, and then the next week he literally did take down Ole Miss. So I just wanted to point that out.
It's worth pointing out because they did take down Ole Miss. And listen, honestly, if I'm Lane, I'm going to have to go for the win there. I mean, I know your kicker's good, but I don't know, man. So many things about that game. It was a great game. That's why I love college football. That's why I love the SEC. Nonetheless, the ESPN FPI has Ole Miss by 75%. Again, no TBD model. And the spread officially has Ole Miss by 9. I'm going first on this one. Now, let me say that South Carolina obviously coming off a tough loss a couple of weeks ago to LSU that they admittedly were jipped out of. 2 calls, both are catches by Kyron Lacey that 110% should have been called incomplete. Nonetheless, we can't control what they do and don't do, but if you're the Chiefs, you do. Now, nonetheless, this one, it has a chance to be really good. I think South Carolina gives them a run, an afternoon game in Columbia, but I don't think South Carolina wins this game. I've got Ole Miss. I don't have them to cover. I like Ole Miss by a touchdown, maybe a field goal. I think South Carolina can give them a run for their money. They did it to LSU. Why not do it to Ole Miss? Because LSU has Ole Miss next week. And so with that said, I would love to see Ole Miss win so they don't come into Baton Rouge pissed off. So, nonetheless, go ahead, Mason.
Yeah, this one's going to be difficult for both teams for a lot of different reasons. There's a reason that the spread is only by 9. So they got to stop the QB draw because South Carolina can definitely expose that. Lenora Sellers is back this week, all right? So he's been hurt with an ankle sprain. He's now on top of the depth chart. Robbie Ashford's been filling in. But South Carolina, they haven't really played anybody yet except for LSU, right? They had a struggle win against Old Dominion in week 1. They beat Kentucky the next week 31-6. Then they lost to LSU in a highly controversial game with the refs. I believe they got bailed out. And I just wanted to say, Isaac, they didn't just give you guys a run for your money. You guys lost that game. South Carolina was, oh my gosh, they should have won that game by 2 touchdowns. So many stupid plays called back because of dumb officiating. That's my opinion. And then they beat Akron 50-7. So they actually took their cupcake and didn't choke, which is good. So, yeah, Ole Miss definitely needs to be careful of the quarterback draw. They need to stop the chunk yardage plays, all right, because they let Brock Vandagriff run all over their defense last week, and they let them get down the field over and over and over again. All right, so that's what they got to stop. And then the biggest thing, and this is actually my biggest thing for Ole Miss, do not underestimate the hostility of Williams Brice. We saw them take down number 5 Tennessee just 2 years ago in their home, in their place, in a night game, one of the biggest upsets in South Carolina history. All right, and then we almost saw them take down LSU just 3 weeks ago, and now you've got Ole Miss, who just lost to Kentucky, coming to your house. All right, so do not underestimate what South Carolina can do at home, because Williams Brice can be very hostile. South Carolina, this is the game that you can prove that you can hang with the big boys, all right? You almost had your opportunity against LSU. It got squandered. Use this opportunity. Prove that you can hang. Prove that you can take down a top 25 team at home with this new team, because you haven't done it in about 2 years, all right? And if you want to win, don't let up. Be aggressive, all right? Make it too big to rig. Make it so that the refs can't take it away from you. Let Sellers use his legs. If the injury allows, let him do what he does best. And you got to, on defense, use Nick Emenwari. pressure dart all day long, all right? If that guy cannot hang up with pressure against Kentucky, then he won't be able to do it against you, all right? So for that reason, oh boy, I'm picking South Carolina for the upset. Go Cox. I picked them last time for LSU, and they almost won. I think this is going to be a big-time game in their stadium, and I think they're going to be ready. I think Shane Beamer, he almost tasted that sweet, sweet victory against LSU. It was stolen from him, and he wants it back. So give me the Cox in this one. SC for the win.